Brother, she cannot fill you up. Sister, he cannot fill you up. The new job won't fill you up. The new house won't fill you up. The bigger house will not fill you up. Not even the automobile will fill you up. Only God can fill you up. You can have every Tom, Jim, and Harry, and you will still not be satisfied, sister. Brother, you can have every woman with the great hips, the great lips, and the perfect fingertips, and you still will not be satisfied, because only God can fill you up. You can get one more PhD, you can get one more GED, you can get one more degree, but only God can fill you up. This is the challenge in early marriages, and I promise I'm going to move on. In most early marriages, one of the spouses will be dissatisfied because they will discover that this person they have been waiting for their entire life cannot fill them up. Nothing and no one can fill you up except God. It's a matter of greed or compulsivity, but it's also a matter of speed. Would you say that speed? That's not compulsivity. That's impulsivity. That means that my daddy has a wonderful house. He has a 4-bedroom house, wonderful grass, a wonderful neighborhood, and I say to my wife, baby, you deserve that too. So tomorrow, I'm going to go out, I'm going to qualify, I'm going to get you that house. It means that, yes, there are some things that I want, and there are some things that I can get, but maybe right now is not the time. Okay, I promise you I can't stay here long because I'm talking about finances. I know that's hard enough, you know. I understand this is difficult. And so my children, sometimes they sit at the table, and there's this funny dynamic. They're sitting at the table. Let's say they're eating pizza. They will have 2 slices of pizza on their plate. And then they'll start fighting. Hey, Dad, I want the next slice of cheese. No, I want, and I have to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Why don't you eat what you have, and when you finish what you have, I'll make sure you get more. But Dad, no, I need it right now. No. You're going to eat what you have, and I promise you, on my word, I'll take care of you, and you'll get what you need. From time to time, we feel like we have to have something right away. And God does not say that I get what I want when I want it. In fact, he says, sometimes I won't give you something because I know if you got it now, it would destroy you. But what I'll do when the time is right, I will meet you. No good parent gives their child dessert before they've eaten their dinner. And so Peter's problem here is he was presumptuous and he was compulsive because he didn't want to be embarrassed. The danger is from time to time we start living for other people. We become impulsive. We start from impulsivity and compulsivity, and we start focusing on greed and speed. And God did not call us to focus on greed and speed. But not only is it a matter of financial commitment, but it's a matter of financial conflict. Would you say it to your neighbor, financial conflict? He goes, Peter, to Jesus, the rabbi. And Jesus says, now look, we weren't even obligated to get that new vehicle. We weren't even obligated to get that new flat screen TV. We weren't even obligated to get a house that has 300,000 square feet and there's only one person in it. We weren't obligated for that. But, so we don't have to fuss and fight. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you provision. Check it out. Jesus did not want Peter fussing and fighting over finances. And so Jesus gave Peter means to meet the need so he wouldn't have to fuss and fight over finances. And in the text, Jesus is saying to all of us that we shouldn't spend our time fussing and fighting over finances. And I know there's nobody fussing and fighting over finances here today. As soon as the body goes into the ground, somebody starts saying, well, what about my share? Somebody said, where there is a will, there will be a fight. Okay, y'all not feeling me. Let me see if I could make it plain. I know many of you are fans of Kobe Bryant. And it was 2 days before Mother's Day. Kobe Bryant took his mama to court. Kobe Bryant took his mama to court. Some say it's about $400,000. he's suing his mother, through his attorneys, of course, over some memorabilia that she had in the garage that she was auctioning off. Now, if you think about, the stupidity of suing your mother 2 days before Mother's Day. I'm not being spiritual now. I'm not. I'm being pragmatic and practical. If you are a major name brand, Kobe Bryant, would it make great sense 2 days before Mother's Day and they're going to court over it? Now, about $400,000. This man is worth mounds of money, and he's suing his mama. Okay, here's the pragmatic portion. Doesn't make great sense because if my son ever goes to my wife and says, I'd like to get some Kobe Bryant, a Kobe Bryant jersey. She said, not in my house. That rascal sued his mama. It doesn't make business sense to do what he did. And the problem with fighting over money is money has the ability to arrest your heart. And you stop thinking and you just start fighting. You stop rationalizing, am I really cussing somebody out over a $10 sandwich that they charged me $11 for? Am I really refusing to talk to my brother or my sister or my mother or my father over a couple $100,000? Is this really worth it? It's not. Okay, all right. Let me see if I can move on. I'll move on. Let me see if I can make this plain. This is true. His name is Larry Dallas. Larry Dallas. He was a retired military man, and Wells Fargo said that he had to pay his neighbors' home taxes. Okay, and so for years he fought Wells Fargo. He was right, but for years he fought Wells Fargo because they were going to take his home. Didn't make sense. For years he fought. And lo and behold, in December 2012, he won after fighting years in court. But the court trial was so hard, was so strenuous, was so difficult for Larry. As soon as he won, he dropped dead. Now I don't know him, and I regret that he lost his life, but I wonder if he had gotten to the place where he said, this is a wonderful home. I rightly deserve this home, but I'm not going to fight over this home anymore. Would he still be alive today? There's a certain level of spiritual maturity that says, I don't have anything that I will not sacrifice for my own peace and for the love of others. Okay. All right. Think of it as the rule of relationship over revenue. That at no time will I fuss and fight over some nickels and dimes. At no time will I sell myself short. I am not for sale. You are not for sale. So when it comes down to money, you will not get down, dirty, and ugly over money. Why? Because you understand that you are worth more than that. Your life is worth more than that. You are not being prostituted for money. As Christians, we understand that we don't fuss and fight over finances. We understand that God knows and God will take care. So when it comes down to money, I trust God to handle, and I'm not going to get in a fight over finances. Amen? You need to get this. You need to take this home with you, because at some point, your cousin them who you co-signed for will not pay. They won't do their part, and you will have the choice whether to drive over to their house, to act ugly, to threaten to sue them, to threaten to disown them, or to say, you know what? I believe God's going to handle the situation. And when you do that, you give an offering to God. Because everyone else will look and say, no, you didn't. You did not let them get away with $5,000. And you'll say, yes, I did. And then they'll say, well, why? Because I recognize that my God will supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. How many churches have been destroyed over a little change? How many families have been destroyed over a little change? You see, the enemy knows if he can't use this or that, he'll use that old dollar bill. I got to move on. God does not desire for us to fight over finances. We are better than that. All right, let's continue. So first, it's financial commitments. But then it's financial conflict. But then it's also the financial collection. Because the last move of the text is beautiful. Peter, having gone to Jesus, Jesus says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go fishing. Okay. Go fishing. And the first fish you find, I want you to take it out the water, and I want you to open its mouth, and you'll find a drachma. You'll find a coin to pay the taxes. What in the world? Why in the world would Jesus tell him to go fishing to meet his financial need? Well, there's several things in there. First, you need to see that Jesus was really trying to give Peter the hookup, okay? Jesus was trying to give Peter a line for meeting his needs. And the reality is God has given each of us a line to meet our needs. I don't know what your skills are, what your talents are, but I do know this. God has given you some matter or measure to meet your needs. God gives, and Peter was a fisherman. And so when he ran into financial trouble, he said, you need to go fishing. And the reality is, when we have needs that need to be met, God says, I've already given you something to use to meet your need. The question is, are we willing to obey God and use it? When Peter obeyed God and used what he had, well, God, I would go fishing, but I don't see how going fishing is going to meet my need. I would go fishing, but I'm actually tired of the smell of fish. You know, they're dirty, they're slimy. You know, I've been fishing all my life. I just don't feel it's respectable. Jesus, I would do what you say, but you know what? The schedule. I don't like the 9-to-5 thing. You know, I really don't like that. I'm not a 9-to-5 person. Or I don't feel like I have to wear a suit every Sunday. You know, I'd rather be in a classroom with kids. No. Jesus told Peter to use what you have, to get what you need, and your needs would be met. And the reality is, God is telling all of us to use what you have, to get what you need, and your needs would be met. God's design and desire is not for you and me to wait for somebody to give us something that we really, really want. God's design for you and me is for us to get up and do what we can. What was his name? It was a young MC who said, just bust a move. I mean, do what you can. And as you bust a move, God will move and make sure you get what you need. As you keep busting a move every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, God will bless and meet your needs. My God. Okay. His name was Yates. Yates, in the early 1920s, bought land in Texas. He bought land in southern Texas, and he was a shepherd or a herdsman. So he had animals, he had a plan, he was doing the best he can, but he couldn't make all his needs meet. He tried and he tried, but he couldn't do what he needed to do. And so finally, Yates said, well, it looks like I'm going to be bankrupt. But before Yates went bankrupt, something in his heart said, why don't you just check and see if there's anything in this land worthwhile? So he called a couple oil companies. One said, yeah, we'll come and check, and you'll give us 2% or 1% if there's anything there. And so they drilled. And in 1923, they found the biggest mass of oil in the U.S. under Yates' land. They said they didn't have to drill far. They only drilled about 1,000 feet. That's not far at all. Only drilled about 1,000 feet. And they said the geyser was so big that they had to redirect it into an old ravine and lake. And to this day, still massive amounts of oils, barrels, are coming out of Yates' land. The reality is, all of us have something on the inside that's a treasure, that's endless, and that's valuable. And if we're willing to work it, if we're willing to use it, if we're willing to cast it out as a line in faith, then God will bless us. You see it in the text? That all you have to do is be willing to do what God has made you to do, and the resources will be there. I love this text because this text is a wonderful teaching on the reality of faith in God. Had Peter done like many of us and said, God, I will win you, he would have had nothing. But because Peter went fishing for a coin in the mouth of a fish, he discovered what God had for him. There's so much in that, even for the church. Maybe instead of pushing and prodding for people to give more, and I believe in giving, but maybe we should do more fishing. And then when we go fishing, God will supply the need for counseling. God will supply the need for teaching children. God will supply the need for the hungry when we go fishing. God wants us to be willing to go fishing. Because